Hello everybody and welcome back to the coolest dog training YouTube channel on YouTube. I'm Tom Davis, America's canine educator. This episode is a longer format of a behavior modification with the dog that their owners are just about ready to give up on. He's bitten, he tries to bite, I should say, other dogs and other people almost on a regular basis. This is a dog that's been through our program and was really difficult to break through with. And in this long formatted video, you see us break through, and this particular dog was not able to be in the same room with any dogs at all without overreacting. And then when he did overreact and you gave him a little pressure, he would redirect and try to bite their owner. So this dog has been muzzled for a couple months now. And in this episode, you watch in detail how to break down these sequences, and more importantly, I think I show you and explain to you exactly why it happens. So finding the core of the behavior is really crucial when you're doing any behavior modification with any dog. So he's growling, and his teeth. So he's warning me, like we talked about, which again is natural. I'm okay with him being not comfortable with something, but how far is it going to go? Good thing about Doodle is the fact that after we broke down the behavior and we figured out that as soon as we stop the reactivity, because in my opinion, I think that he was basically just, he was basically just reacting and getting away with it. So when you were in group class and he was freaking out and then he was redirecting towards you, or it was pissing him off. And so sometimes when you use the prong collar, it doesn't work. Very rarely does the dog ignore the correction if you do it right, and you guys did everything that you could. It's very rare that these things happen, but when they do happen, you need to be able to make sure that you have other, not necessarily tools in dog training terms, but other creative ways and methods to try to remove the behavior. Our ultimate goal in this situation is to try to figure out why the reactivity is so severe, and that's what we did last time. And I basically said, let's figure this out. And as the dogs came out, I think it was dog one, I corrected him and he didn't like it. And I corrected him with the e-collar at that time. You guys, and this is a case where, again, you're on your last leg, if you will. And I mean that in a sense of you guys are running out of options on what to do. You either make a decision to live with it and be stressed out about it, or you try to figure out everything that we possibly can to fix it. So in these rare occasions, the e-collar is really nice to use because it has so many different levels. And so that's what I love about the e-collar is it has the ability to sit here and have a conversation and be very digestible of like, okay, I'm picking up everything that you're saying through the e-collar in a positive way. But it also has the ability to go up 90 levels, and be able to intensify the pressure on the dog. And that's the wonderful thing about the e-collar is you get your basic primary 3 channels with your leash, but when you get an e-collar, you get HBO, Showtime, and Cinemax because you're able to extend the things that you can do with the equipment, and you can further your communication with the dog with that tool. And so I personally believe, judging by what I've seen prior and what I saw last session, that nothing was bothering this dog. I mean, we couldn't do anything to make him be like, oh, okay, sorry. It was just, he's going to react, and if you correct him, he's going to come back at you. So one thing I typically see, or I hear or I read about people who don't like prong collars is that exact thing, is that when you correct a dog, it makes it worse. Very rarely does that happen. Very rarely does a dog physically turn and look at you and go, screw you, I'm coming back at you. Under circumstances of actual like prey-driven instinctual aggression, where the dog is literally like, I'm gonna eat you and attack you, and their brain is literally like there. It's like if you haven't eaten in 6 weeks and somebody puts a full Thanksgiving in front of you, like you're doing everything you can to get to that. And that's almost involuntary to the dog, that they want to completely just dive right in and try to get what that is. There's a switch. And in that situation, yes, if you do cause conflict or an aversive tool to the dog to correct them, they will certainly get pissed off and basically redirect at you because they need to go get what they want. Yeah. And you just cause them discomfort, right? Which is part of the game when we're doing behavioral work with dogs. So we can dance around all day and try to escape the behaviors by using food lures and things like that. But this is the type of dog that's going to get away with everything in that process. Yeah. So could we minimize the reactivity through some sort of higher currency, such as food, chicken, beef, steak? Sure. But he's still going to be looking at the side of his eyes like, once I'm done taking all this food from this dude, I'm going to come back and take care of you next. And so we can talk all day about what methods and what things can work and how many other options we have. But in reality, the more we let this dog get away with stuff, the more we take a step back. Every time he growls and barks at a dog and we don't fix it or do something, we're doing this. So that's important to me because that's the type of dog he is every dog's an opportunist, but he's the type of dog that knows not only can I get away with it, but you guys are actively trying to fix it, and I'm not going to listen. That's a problem. So the Ecollar, again, has stimulation levels. Typically when we do Ecollar sessions, it's an introductory phase, again, like I talked about, very, very low levels that we can hardly feel to get the dog's attention. That's 99% of the training that we do. In some cases, when a dog actively redirects on a human because they get upset because you're using the tool to stop what they primarily want or primitively want, they can get upset and go back at you. But using technology and not making it physical adds such a different thing to the spectrum, right? It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, I know it's not you because you can literally with the leash, you can feel the owner, or you guys correcting the dog. So essentially, what you want to do is when the dog tries to go after another dog, you need to nip it right when it hits like level. So on a spectrum of a dog seeing red, it would be 0 to 10. 10 would be red zone dog. We want to hit it at like 3 or 4. So that way it never climbs that way. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we're going to do with the Ecollar today. It has a vibrate on it, which is really nice. Dogtra makes a 280C that has 280C stands for compact. It's a small collar, which would be fine for him. But the pager, essentially on every Ecollar, is a vibrate. And the vibrate on the Dogtra 280C is very intense. And so I'm going to try to use the vibrate to get the dog to stop what they're doing. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's what we're going to do first. See that? So that, okay? Do you see that? You can hear it too. That's him telling me like, hey. So this is really interesting. This is why I kind of took on this case. This, to me, is a dog that, yes, is showing me clear signs of uncomfortability, but he does it so consistently that at what point is he trying to train me to just back away, to get what he wants? Right. Those are the hardest dogs to work with because now they've learned, like, if I just punch you in the face, you're going to get away from me. And that's what he's trying to do. And so that's the type of stuff we need to correct. And using the e-collar to do it from a distance is not only more effective, timely-wise, but it's way more effective than the actual leash, because you could correct him from there if you wanted to. Meaning, right here it's a clinical environment, so nothing else is going on. But at home, say the mailman or your best friend or your mom, sister, brother, aunt, or uncle came barging in and he did something, you have the ability with the e-collar to do something about it. Yeah. Instead of, hold on, let me get the leash, don't come in, as they're walking in. Yeah. So for me, it's a no-brainer to be able to wirelessly control your dogs. So, good. So even that's a lot better than before. I mean, he was pretty nasty with me before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that pager when he does that, okay? Shh, leave it. Leave it. That's the pager. So it's a vibrate. Good. Here's my intentions and here's my observation of this. Again, if a dog was actually afraid of me and was like, oh my God, pee in their pants, don't touch me, I would never be doing this. Mm-hmm. Working with this dog several times, I can tell you that's not the case. He's like, get the hell away from me. Don't touch me. But not in the way of, I'm afraid of you. It's in the way of like, I don't want you to. Yeah. That core behavior of him making decisions is ultimately making him make the decisions through other dogs. right? So he's like, don't touch me, I don't want you near me. Growl, bark, scream, grab, bite, whatever. He's doing the same thing with other dogs. So what I always try to do in any behavior modification case that I take is I ultimately try to get rid of the core behavior that's causing the negative effects. That's it. Get away from me, I don't want you here. And how do I get you away from this? Is I growl and bite at you. I'm trying to take that core behavior out completely, so that way it transfers and umbrellas to other places so it doesn't exist. Does that make sense? Yeah. So if he was actually, so here's the interesting part about dog behavior, which I love this stuff, is if he was actually afraid of me, like in a fear-based situation, he would still be doing the same thing. Like fear doesn't go away. He's making a decision to say, okay, fine, I'll let this guy pet me, right? Yeah. Like if he was actually like inheritedly fearful of me, he couldn't help it. Yeah, he couldn't, it was involuntary. He'd be like, oh my God, you're gonna kill me again. Now he's making a decision because I gave him an aversive correction to say, okay, fine. Because when I do that, this vibrating stupid thing happens. So ultimately I would say he's being a huge brat, but that brat has teeth, which is a problem.
Good boy. What a good boy. Doodle. Thank you. Doodle, come here.
Good. So do you see the acceptance he provides to me right here? Yep. Immediately, right? Because I called him out on his shit. What? And so that's the cool thing about dog behaviors. If you could pinpoint why. Like we spend a lot of time, like, and again, I'm guilty of it too, like correcting the behavior so it ultimately just goes away is good in a quick form. Yeah. But finding the core of it is so important. And that's what we're starting to do with him. Hey, Doodle. Where's it? Yes, good. Seats. Coucher. Go to stay. So you see the difference where before, we weren't here last session, but before he immediately like freaked out on her. I can imagine. Yeah, and then as soon as I corrected him, he stopped.
Yeah, this is insane to me right now.
Yeah. Just don't assume that that's what it is. Yeah. We're correcting the behavior much like if you had, when I was in school, when you spelled something wrong and it gave you the underline, the correction is, okay, well then tell me how. Yeah. If this isn't the right way, then show me how to do it. Yeah. That's what I'm correcting. Yeah. So when he does something I don't like, I'm correcting him. But then I'm also rewarding him when he does the things that I like. So that's important to understand during this process. That's why I love working with behavior so much, is because it means a lot to me, because it helps me dig deeper and it helps me understand the way dogs tick. And I learn something every session, and that's why I wanted to work with him specifically, because I said that's when I see dogs who are that uncontrolled and like so hard to figure out, it makes me excited. Just keep him on the leash, and then maybe just walk around with him. And
I couldn't take my jaw off the ground, so I was like, "This is insane."
Like you said, you got the anger part.
I do have the beginning.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I do.
The pissed offness.
Yep.
We could get all kinds of footage of that.
Yeah. So I want you to notice again, Doggy's never seen, met, smelled, or anything in the room, and nothing. Yeah. It's good. Hi, big man. Oh, thank you. Oh, you can let him go nose to nose if he wants. Yeah. Hi. Leave it. Good. So interesting enough, you see how nature just played its course there? He growled, so something came out of his mouth, and he showed his teeth. What did he, I don't know if you caught that, but what he did is he avoided.
Is it okay? Fine.
Yeah.
So that's awesome to see, because not only for him, because he's like, got it, okay, you don't like me, whatever. But that's something that you guys need to consider, of like how natural what he's trying to do is pretty natural. Showing you my teeth and I'm growling, I'm telling you I'm not okay. It's like a rattlesnake. They always typically will warn you before something happens. And if you can continue to mess with the rattlesnake, you mess with the bull, you get the horns type thing. But interesting, so bring him a little closer. Come here, Doodle. Boy's a big man. Good. And so he's trying to avoid the situation. So he's trying to make a decision to say, I don't want any part of this, which I respect, and I'll let him do so.
Yeah.
But what I'm most highlighting here is he's not going forward.
Yeah.
Right? Why don't one of you come take the leash?
Crazy alligator.
Leave it. Good. 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 It's okay. Good. Good doodle! Yay! Good boy. So make sure you reward him for that too, you know. There's my big man. Oh, there's my big man.
Yeah, I mean, it's still better.
Good. So see the avoidance that see him?
Yeah.
He's completely avoiding.
Nothing to do with it.
Good. And now, let's see what happens when I take Mr. Hawk here, turn his butt. See everything change? Right?
He smelled and he's like, okay, I'm done.
So that was an opportunity for him to say, ooh, the teeth are on the other end, I'll take a look quick.
Okay.
Right? It's good. It's good. Man's. Was a good man's. Good. Just keep giving him. Yep. Just don't give him any pressure, that's all. Good. Oh, good. So see, he came to me by him, and he knew that he was here the whole time. So that's good, right?
Yeah.
Because this is how he is with us.
Yeah.
He loves being touched.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
just no one else
Right. Well, anymore. I mean,
anymore.
good. Yeah. So we just have to keep doing this. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I think now.
We're just gonna keep it short and sweet each session.
Yeah.
Next time I'll probably have more dogs with me, but I just have my Malinois, my Shepherd, and I had my other dog last time, Lola. She's about 15. She's awesome for this stuff. She gets it, you know. She's like, all right, I've done this 100 times. But I just didn't bring her today. We had a lot going on. You're so good. But as we do this over and over again, he'll learn how to do this stuff.